Hi, I'm Ruth Ann Norden,
And I'm Janet Sias-Nitzig.
and in this video, we're going to talk about thinking like a publisher. Because if you're in business for yourself, writing these books, and you're publishing them yourself, you have to think like a publisher if you're going to treat your writing like a business. Because the primary goal of any publisher is to make money. If they don't make money, they don't stay open, and they have to shut their doors. So, Jan, what would you think? Like if you were a publishing house, okay, you have your guidelines and everything, but what would you want? How would you be thinking, like as you're looking through the slush pile, what kind of things would you be looking for in order to publish that book?
For one thing, I would only spend a small amount of time, maybe the first page, and I could tell a lot. From that first page, I could tell a lot of whether there's grammar mistakes, whether it's a clean copy and it hasn't had any editing. So you want to get something clean that's easy to read right away and something that also grabs you right away.
Okay, so two things initially when you're writing stuff. The first thing you've got to do is I would say hook your reader.
Hook your reader.
If you do not have that compelling story, it doesn't matter how polished up, because I think it all boils down to the compelling story. That's the very first thing you got to do. If your story is not compelling, if it doesn't move people forward, they're not going to keep reading.
That's right.
It doesn't matter how beautiful it is. But once you do have that compelling story, you do have to make sure it is properly edited and clean.
And if you were a publisher, you would be thinking about, well, I have this other one over here that's a compelling story, and it's just as compelling as this one here, but this one is a lot better written, and it doesn't have grammar mistakes and doesn't have spelling mistakes, so which one would you take? You have all these choices.
So are you saying maybe you've written a couple stories and which one to publish?
Right, exactly.
Or maybe not?
Right, exactly.
Maybe you do have like another story that you've done, but maybe it needs to go back and kind of, vamp it up, clean it up before you just automatically throw it out there to be published. Because just because you have like about 5 stories ready to go, if like a story's really not ready, then just kind of wait. And I know a lot of people in our generation here, we have fast food, we want things right away.
Right.
It's hard to wait, but sometimes taking the time to wait can make all the difference.
It does. And make something that I would say too that a publisher would tell you also, try not to keep up with the trend, because by the time you've kept up with the trend, that trend is gone.
However, I'll offer a little argument.
Except for romance.
No. Even thriller, suspense. Other science fiction. I think in self-publishing, it's actually easier to chase a trend because you can write the story quicker.
Well, that's true.
And get it published quicker.
That's true.
But I think I think the thing is you want to look for what will most appeal to your audience.
Right.
If you're writing something so different or so unique that it doesn't really relate to your audience,
that's true.
If you want to make money, you've got to think largest audience possible. But you still have to work within, you don't make it so broad that how do you categorize this?
Right.
So maybe that's another thing. Categories. Exactly what category in fiction are you going to touch? You can't hit everybody up, so you got to narrow it down enough so that you can really reach it, You don't
that's
want
true.
like a historical, Western, paranormal, sci-fi, thriller, action, adventure. That's not going to work.
Right.
And you do have to narrow it down to a point, but you've got to have enough elements that are going to reach enough within that audience.
Right, exactly. And that's what a publisher would look for. They would look
because they need to know, does it fit my market? Will it make the kind of thing
X dollars that will be successful?
What are your best chances, and how do you find that out? I think you best find it out by going to the bestsellers list.
Right,
What's selling? What are the common things? That doesn't mean you go steal ideas from other people. You still want to tell your own story, but there's always elements. There's always like a mail order. Let's say mail order bride stories are very popular in there, and convenience, marriage and convenience stories are very popular. These are historical Western themes that really seem to be arranged marriages, stuff like that within historical Western romance. But see, you can take those categories and write just about any story from
Right, exactly.
within there. Can you think of any? Cover.
Yes.
You want a professional cover. Too many people They go into print shop, GIMP, whatever, and I used to do this, so, hey, I'm just as guilty as maybe some of you out there. But, you just put like a little title on and, the page. That used to be able to work. I would say back in 2010 to 2012, you're fine. You know why? Because you're doing 99-cent books, and those were so rare back then that you could more easily pick that up. But see, today, I mean, we have really to up our game when we're thinking like a business, we have really got to up our game. We have got to we're competing against everybody else out there. So you've got to like raise the standard. If you cannot make your cover look professional, then hire out for that. And I think you should always hire out for an editor.
Oh, always.
I really do. Either that or barter services. I mean, there's ways to do it. But you should not, I don't agree that people should be editing their own work. I don't care how good you are, because you're not going to find everything. Your mind's going to pick it up as what it should be instead of what's really there.
That's right, exactly.
And sometimes we get blinded. If we make our own cover, we think it's wonderful. And I've done some of this too, but you know what? It's really not wonderful. And I know some of my old covers need to be revamped.
And one thing you have to think about is in today's world, like you're saying back in 2010 and 2012.
Which is the old times.
But
at this point
now you've got so many people doing self-publishing, and you've got so much competition.
Right.
You really have to up your grade to make it more professional, so yours stands out more than it would have even a few years ago. Things are changing that fast.
Right. It's not enough to have a compelling story. You also got to have all the elements. And one thing I want to touch on before I forget is formatting. It has to be clean when you format your book. If you're making people like, well, here's a paragraph here, it's indented, but over here it's not. And then, like maybe the font is this size over here, and down here it's a different font. That's not going to cut it. People are going to give up.
And I would also say, just as being out with people and talking to them, and you can, in most traditional publishers, it's black on white. I mean, the print is black.
Right, and I don't know if anyone does it differently.
There was a traditional publisher that did do like a cream color for your pages. You could opt for that.
Are you talking about paperbacks?
Paperback for the pages. But
you're not talking about ebooks.
Not ebooks. No.
I'm speaking primarily about ebooks because that's where the money seems to be. But that would be something else. When you're thinking like a publisher, maybe you just don't want to do ebooks. Maybe you want to do paperbacks.
Right.
And I know there's a big argument: cream color versus white paper. I would say as long as it's easy on the eyes, and I would in paperback especially, I would want to make the font a little bit bigger.
Right.
Because you never know if someone's going to...
I'm out meeting with people and ebook, and then ebook is one thing because it is really, like you said, it's just
and you can adjust the font size and everything, so
you don't have to worry, but it's the paperback. The older people need the white background with the black letters and larger print. It doesn't have to be... It doesn't have to be
large.
Not large,
and it doesn't have to be a large print edition either.
I'm not talking about large print. I'm just talking about the type easy to read. Maybe a 14 instead of a 12, maybe. Or,
I think 14 is wonderful because some books, and just think about when you go to books and bookstores, kind of open up, check out the lettering, because I'm going to some of these are like, oh my gosh, you really got to squint because the type is so small, even though the book's thick. But you're just like, and for me, I have eye problems, so for me, that automatically disqualifies
and even me,
that.
I mean, I don't like the little tiny book, and then you got the small print, and you're just straining your eyes, and it is easier to read, and some of these older people are going to they're going to gear more towards the one that they can easily read because they're not going to squint their eyes and take all that time. So you do have to think about that. But like she said, an ebook, you don't really have to worry about it because you can enlarge your print, you can do so many things. Right. But I'm talking about paperback wise. Yeah. So as a publisher, you'd be thinking about that if you were doing some in paperback.
Yeah. And just a quick thing, you'll probably be making most of your money from ebooks.
Oh, yes.
I mean, but if you wanted to have some paperbacks on hand to offer out maybe as prizes and stuff,
right?
That can
it can be a nice gift too.
Yep. So we'll go on to the next post, and we'll end this one here.
Okay, sounds good.